So this is a wrap tie. This one is the Fidella Fly Tai, but there are lots of wrap ties out there on the market, like the Hop Tie, the Didytai, different types of carrier in the Meh Dai style that have 4 straps that tie rather than buckle. So there are huge advantages to some carriers which tie in that you don't have to have a space on the carrier where the buckle is sighted, so you have a huge amount of flexibility in how to tie it. It can also mean that you don't have to adjust your buckles in between carrying adults, but the purposes of this video is to show the difference that you can have with a tie-on carrier when your baby is on your back. When you have a customised size on your carrier, you can have your child as high as you'd like them to go, which makes a really big difference over some of the buckle carriers which have quite long loops and therefore will carry the child quite low down on your back, especially true if you're back carrying at a younger age. So we've got our carrier on the biggest possible setting so that the sides are all undone to the biggest size, and we're going to use this back carry for an older baby or a toddler. The first thing I've done is to knot the carrier around my waist, and I'm going to place the panel out at the side on my hip just here, and I'm going to pick up my older baby or toddler and sit them on my hip just there. When I'm ready, I can bring that body panel up nice and high onto the child's back. Now, for the purposes of the demonstration, we'll give the child their arms out at the top of the carrier, which is a popular choice for older babies and toddlers. What I'm doing is making sure the child is nicely bounced down inside that carrier. And when they are, I'm going to place both of the straps firmly in my right hand in between my chest and the child's, just here, with a hand on their bottom. And we start to move them as far towards the back as we can get them. When I'm happy that they're as far round as they can go until they run into my shoulder, I can take my hand off and just dive it underneath these straps. So it just comes through there, just there. So we can hold on to them really securely all the way around. Swapping hands, we pass them around onto the back. So this is when the nice high back carry becomes really doable in a carrier like this one. If I separate those straps, bring them up and over my shoulders. Because when I can bounce the child down inside that carrier, you can see they can come really, really nice and high. And if I keep the tension in these straps, I can get them as high as I like, so they can look over my shoulder, nice and high up, arms out to the top of the carrier. And then I have a choice on where I'm going to tie my straps. So I'm going to start with a simple rucksack. So holding on to the tension, bringing them behind my shoulders, underneath my baby's bottom, crossing them over, and then adding a tiny little upward pull to help sit them down inside the carrier. I'm just going to tie away at the front. Now I have choices on where to tie. I can tie my carrier in a simple knot around to my middle, and then I have a carrier that looks very much like a rucksack with 2 straps and a waist belt. If I'd like to do a fancy finish or have a little bit more support or a chest strap from a carrier like this one, I am able to do so. If I undo the knot that I just did, so no need to do it in the first place if you're going straight for this configuration, I can bring the carrier across my front diagonally and underneath the shoulder strap just here, so it comes round and through. Pull it all the way through, and then we'll do just exactly the same with this side. So bringing it underneath that shoulder strap, passing it through, keeping the tension in the cloth as you do so. There we are. And coming across the chest, we can then tie together, and we have a huge amount of options on how that carrier works and how that carrier fits, on where you want your straps to go. You can tighten up your waist belt after the fact if you like, perhaps a little bit higher up over your torso, or you can finish your waist belt even across your chest with the rest of the straps, which is especially useful if you don't want anything around your waist. But a little retie there just to make sure everything is really snug and secure, and we have a nice high back carry for an older baby or a toddler in a wrap tie carrier.